Alright. So, I woke up entirely too early this morning. And so I decided to, actually get out of bed and do something. And so I came up to school, and right now I'm in the parking lot of, graduate housing. So earlier this week, I made a video, and I was pretty fucking upset because it did that thing that I told you that it would do, but it never did during that other video, where when I'm recording, it'll desync the voice and video, and so usually when it does that, it just stops completely. The camera's just like, I can't do this. It just gives up. For this video, it actually kept recording, desynced for 10 minutes. And so I wasn't aware that it was messing up because it seems like it's recording, but it was actually messed up. And so I was really, really butthurt about that and decided not to re-record that night. I was upset. Recently, I have been a bit detached, emotionally and socially detached, and I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. When I was younger, maybe 19, when I was 19, I was diagnosed with schizoid personality disorder, and to me, it is not really so much a disorder as it is just another personality type, and I realize that it is considered a disorder. It's not like that I'm just super delusional, this is a wonderful thing. I realize that it is a disorder, but there's no cure for it. There's no way to treat it. You can go to therapy, I guess, but it's literally the way your mind is, literally the way that you perceive the world. It's not even bipolar disorder where you can have medicine to treat episodes that you have. There's no episodes of schizoid. You just are schizoid. I realize that it's a disorder because it is too far out of equilibrium. It is too far to one side of whatever spectrum you're looking at. And so, it's a disorder. But there's nothing you can do about it, so it's a personality type. Really what schizoid is a detachment from social and emotional interaction. I have a very high aversion of emotions, both negative and positive, of change, of interacting with people. It's not that I have social anxiety. I'm actually really good at talking to people. And in talking to people, you would think that I was a person that's extroverted, but I'm not. I'm super introverted and I'm asocial. The way that I describe introversion is a person that is drained by social interactions. And so you can be a person who actually likes to have social interactions, but they're draining. That's the way I think about it. So not all introverts avoid being around people. People that are asocial kind of avoid being around people. And I think a lot of schizoid people that have kind of been programmed, because with my family, my mom was very, very much into training us. My brother had autism, and so she super trained him to be a certain way, and so she did the same thing with me when I was younger, about 15, 16, because I had it's almost like I had forgotten etiquette training and all that stuff, how to talk to people. And so I think a lot of people with schizoid that realize the environment that they're in, the social constraints of whatever place they're at, they're pretty good at emulating emotions and emulating the way that you're supposed to be. So yeah, I have really, 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 really good training. And so that's probably why I don't seem like the typical asocial introvert, is because I have been taught to allocate emotional and social energy in a way that makes me seem like a person who is interested in being around people. So earlier this week, I was pretty detached, and I never really thought about it critically, that emotional detachment usually only occurs for me when I'm experiencing very strong negative emotions. So depression, anxiety, stress, negative stress. I never thought about it happiness is totally an emotion that I could experience, and would cause me to detach. And it wasn't so much that I thought, happiness wouldn't make me detached. It was that I never thought I'd be happy. I never thought of it as an option. And so it happening and then it causing detachment is just very interesting because I never thought about it. Go figure. But yeah, I've been detached earlier this week. I'm coming back bit by bit, and I'm pretty close to being, regular right now. The video that I recorded earlier, it was like, you could totally tell that there was something up. And it's not really bad. It's just, I'm blank. I'm just boring as fuck. I still say the same kind of things. It's not like I'm super pessimistic. It's just, my voice is lower. I have far less expression. I don't go out of my way to make people feel like I want them around me, because usually that's what I do, is I go out of my way to make people feel wanted, because I realize that's the way people want to feel, is that, they're great and awesome and wonderful. And so when I'm detached, I don't give a fuck, honestly. So detachment is interesting for me because when I'm experiencing an intense emotion or too much social interaction, I shut down. But I can just shut down and just be done. Like, I could just back off from my experience as a human being. But because I have bipolar disorder, I have some delusional thinking and I have some hallucinations going on. And so instead of, closing shop and staying here, I close shop and I go over there. And over there isn't quite reality. And so when that happens, it's not supremely uncomfortable. It's strange though. It's a bit surreal. And so the feeling is like my head is a balloon suspended yards above my body. And so I could look down and see my body. I could see my hands, my torso, my arms, my legs, but they feel like they are miles away. Like it makes no goddamn sense to me. And I'm a person that's pretty grounded in reality, but there's a part of my mind that is absolutely just fucking bonkers. And it's hard to reconcile yourself with it when you're like, super logical person with, almost like snake brain going on, and a part of you is just supremely irrational. And so it's hard to navigate through that as a logical person through the irrationality. It's weird. I have several types of detachment that I feel. One is I have this weird sensory thing going on where it feels like I'm rolling something cylindrical between my index finger and my thumb, even though I'm literally, these fingers are not touching. I'll just be sitting here and it'll feel like that's what I'm doing. And then I have this weird metallic-y, ammonia-y smell that I'm smelling that I know isn't actually happening. And I feel like I am, again, yards above my body, that I am not I'm just not here. And it's very strange because, I can't rely on my emotions. I can't rely on feelings, but I can, to an extent, rely on, my senses. And it's weird because my senses aren't particularly reliable either, but they're the most reliable thing that I have to depend on in experiencing being a person. And so I have these weird tactile and olfactory, and I don't really hear things when I'm detached, but I do when I am just, regular. And I've been experiencing that particular thing since I was 8 or 9, and so it's really easy to describe the series of sensory things that I have going on. Other times I feel like the world is too bright. It's too loud. Everything is just so vivid and I am not a part of it. Other times everything's dull. Just so dull that I am not all that connected to it. Like, it's happened to me while I was on the bus, where I feel like I can't move, because if I move, I'm going to dislodge myself from reality. That I feel like that whatever is connecting me here is going to rip if I move, and so I can't. It's a little bit of paranoia, and so that's what makes it uncomfortable, is the feeling that something's terribly, terribly wrong. The actual sensations aren't that bad. Wow. Yeah. And so, yeah, earlier this week I was totally up all in that, and it was weird, but I'm good now. But anyway, it was a nice talk. I'll catch you later.